Press Secretary under President Trump and Fox News analyst Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming on.
You.
I just wanted to read this. This is from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and I think it's a very good point. He said the following quote here. This is about the teenagers and the children they have. He says, "We have no idea if these children are being reunited with their families through DNA testing or other means, or if they have been victims of human trafficking." I mean, they've got thousands of kids down there. They're trying to find places to put them, and they don't know who they belong to, Kayleigh.
It's a great point. If you think about what's going on now, within 72 hours, these kids are supposed to be transferred from DHS to HHS, Health and Human Services, as they endeavor to unite them with family members or relatives in the United States, which is a very complicated process, sometimes a long process. And there are real fears that, one, the overcrowding at the facilities, where you have some facilities at 323% of what they can hold capacity-wise. That's one fear. Of course, traveling to the border, being trafficked is another fear. And then there's the fear of not actually reuniting them with a relative or someone who can care for them within our interior. So there are a lot of hazards here for kids. It is the opposite of compassion to incentivize this.
When you hear Jen Psaki say something, the White House press secretary, Kayleigh, like, you know, we could be doing a better job down there on the border, what's the bigger message that she's passing along?
Well, I appreciate the candidness of that, because that's certainly true and good for her for leveling on that point. But what is striking to me is you can be candid now about that, but I think it's very tough when you've stood at the podium and said, we are not going to send children back. What that does is it incentivizes the flow. It's what Republicans have called that pull factor of increasing the number of children who come to our border, increasing the number of children who are going to be human trafficked and victims of violence and abuse. So to be candid now is good, but previously to have said, we're not sending anyone back, you know, we're essentially open for business here, that's a really troubling prospect that has led to where we are now. I
want to kind of switch topics if I can here, Kayleigh, to the, President Biden hasn't addressed Congress. The joint session of Congress has not really given a press conference so far. I want to put this on the screen because this is the date of the first joint address to Congress by former presidents. We have President Trump, February 28, 2017. President Obama, February 24th, after he was put into office. George W. Bush, the 27th of February. Bill Clinton, February 17th. George H.W. Bush, February 9th. We are at March 16th and still nothing. Kayleigh, your thoughts?
It's really surprising, Trace, because, look, with a press conference, which, of course, he hasn't done, it's a 100-year record, it's day 55. With that, of course, he expects to get very tough, rigorous questions that will be hard to answer. But with a joint address, this is your opportunity to set your messaging on infrastructure, on this COVID relief bill. What's the next iteration if he foresees one? Where are we going to go on immigration? This is an opportunity not to have the jostling back and forth with the press, but to speak to the nation, to look into the camera, talk to the American people, and give us optimism and hope as to what you plan going forward. Why he's not doing it is befuddling.
Speaking about the press, just moments ago, Jen Psaki, aboard Air Force One on the Gaggle, they're heading to Pennsylvania, said that she'll have an update on a press conference that the president will give. It's not going to be this week, but at least they're talking about it.